Hello everyone, welcome to the live. Thank you so much for joining in the live. Who's here in the chat? Drop your name, drop your name. Hi, Nashia. How are you? Thank you so much for joining in the live. Have a great day to you. Thank you so much. इसमें नहीं मैंने उल्टा को दिखाना है ना इसमें Hello, welcome to the live. Thank you, Tuna, for joining in the live. Have a nice day to you. Thank you so much. Who's here in the chat? Next name is. Who's here? Who's here in the chat? Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Hello, Varish. How are you? Thank you so much for joining in the live. And here is Kikim in the chat. Hello, Kikim. How are you? Thank you so much for joining in the live. Have a great day. And here is Niket. Hi, how are you? Thank you so much for joining in the live. Thank you. And next name is Gertly in the chat. Hello, how are you? Thank you so much for joining in the live. And next name is Hi Lana, how are you? Thank you Lana for joining the live. Next name is Hyunjin in the chat. Hi Hyunjin. Jin, how are you? And here next name is Hi Raina, how are you? Thank you so much for joining in the live. And here is Elodie in the chat. Hello, Elodie. How are you? And next name is Hi Lara. How are you, Lara? Thank you, Laura, for joining in the live. And next name is Seong Min in the chat. Hi, Seong Min. How are you? Thank you so much for joining in the live. Okay, next name is I think an network issue. And next name is I see here is Natalia. Hi Natalia, how are you? Thank you so much Natalia for joining in the live. Have a lovely day to you. And here is Dia. Hi Dia, how are you? Thank you Dia for joining the live. Next name is Jania. How are you? Thank you so much Janiela for joining in the live. And next name is Watron in the chat. Hello Watron, how are you? And here is Olivia joining the live. Hi Olivia, how are you? Thank you so much Olivia. Next name is Delisa. How are you? Delisa. Next name is Leona in the chat. Hello Leona. And next name is Nikhil. Hi Nikhil, how are you? Thank you Nikhil for joining in the live. Okay, next name is I see. Hi Lily, how are you? Thank you Lily for joining in the live. Next name is Ellen in the chat. Hello Ellen, how are you? Thank you so much for joining in the live. Next name is Jaya. How are you? Thank you so much for joining in the live. And here is Hi Jenny, how are you? Thank you Jenny. Thank you so much for joining in the live. And next name is Emily in the chat. Hi Emily. How are you? Tap on the screen. Everyone like the live. Tap on the screen. And here is Ola. Name is John. Thank you Ola. And here is Ward in the chat. Hello Ward. Name is John. Next name is Hi Rita, how are you Rita? Thank you so much Rita. Next name is T2 in the chat. Hello, welcome to the live. And next name is Toji in the chat. Hello Toji, how are you? And here is Changbin in the chat. Hi Changbin, how are you? Next name is Jisoo join the live. Hello Jisoo, how are you? Next name is Jungkook in the chat. Hello Jungkook. How are you Jungkook? And here is Jamie. How are you Jamie? And here is Short and in the chat. Welcome to the live. Thank you so much. And here is Olga in the chat. Hello, welcome to the live. And here next name is John in the chat. Hi John. And next name is Daha17 in the chat. Hello, welcome to the live. Next name is Hi Han. How are you? Thank you Han for joining in the live. Have a lovely day to you Han. Thank you so much. Okay, next name is Jimmy name is John. Daha name is John. Han name is John. Next name is Hyunjin. Hyunjin in the chat. Hello Hyunjin. And here is Arthur in the chat. Hello. How are you? Thank you so much for joining in the live. And here is Cami. How are you, Cami? And next name is Dima in the chat. Hello, Dima. How are you, Dima? And here is Azra join the live. Hello, Azra. How are you? Thank you so much, Azra. Next name is Sophia in the chat. Hi, Sophia. And here is Tillman in the chat. Hello, welcome to the live. Thank you so much for joining in the live. And here is Dave in the chat. Hi, Dave. How are you? Ina. Next name is Ina in the chat. Hello, Ina. Thank you so much for joining in the live. And here is Baby Monster in the chat. Here you go, Baby Monster. And here I see Duru in the chat. Hello, Duru. How are you? And here is Halima. Hi, Halima. And welcome back to the live. Thank you so much, Halimi. Thank you so much, Halimi, for joining in the live. And welcome back to the live. Next name is Asa in the chat. Hello, Asa. How are you? And here is Laura Raj. Thank you so much for joining in the live. And here is Pipi in the chat. And next name is Sana. Hi Sana. How are you, Sana? Thank you, Sana, for joining the live. And here is Magisha. How are you, Magisha? Thank you so much, Magisha. And here is I see Beyonce. How are you, Beyonce? Hi, Siham. How are you? And here is Alice in the chat. Hi, Alice. How are you? And here is Zaina join the live. Hello, Zaina. How are you? Welcome to the live. Next name is Ananya in the chat. Hi Ananya, and your next name is Aros in the chat. Hello Aros, how are you? And here is Naima in the chat. Hello Naima. And here is next name is Umes. How are you, Umes? Thank you, Umes, for joining in the live. Thank you, Zush. How are you? Thank you so much for joining in the live. Have a great, lovely day to you, everyone. And here is Daniela. Thank you, Daniela. Have a great day to you. And here I see Luca in the chat. Hi, Luca. How are you? And next name is Hi, Lela. How are you? Thank you so much, Lela, for joining in the live. And here is Nikhil in the chat. Hi, Nikhil. How are you? And here is Ranjit. Hi, Ranjit. Welcome to the live, Ranjit. Thank you so much. Next name is Naima in the chat. Hello, Naima. And here next name I saw. Thank you so much for joining in the live. Have a great day. And here is Murtaza in the chat. Hello Murtaza, how are you? And here is Lino in the chat. Hello Lino, how are you, Lino? And here is Azerbaijan in the chat. Thank you so much. Have a great day to you. And here is Hi Muskan, how are you? Welcome to the live, Muskan. And next name is Melaine in the chat. Hello Melaine, how are you? And here is I see here next name is Junia in the chat. Hello, how are you? Welcome to the live. Next name is I see here is Virat in the chat. Hello Virat, how are you? Thank you so much. And next name is John Gin in the chat. Hello John Gin, how are you? And I see Anya in the chat. Hello Anya, welcome to the live. Thank you so much for joining in the live. Have a happy day to you. And here is Hi Sikandar, how are you? Welcome to the live, Sikandar. And here we go. I see Muhammad in the chat. Hello Muhammad, how are you? And here is next name is Ania in the chat. Hello, welcome to the live. Next name is I see Lenny in the chat. Hello, welcome to the live. Here is Chang Bin in the chat. Hi Chang Bin, how are you? And here is Bessie in the chat. Thank you so much for joining in the live. And here is Inwu in the chat. Hello Inwu, how are you? Minakshi. Next name is Minakshi. How are you, Meenakshi. Thank you so much, Meenakshi, for joining in the live. Have a great day to you. Thank you, Meenakshi. And next name is Yun Chai in the chat. Hi, Yun Chai. How are you? Thank you so much for joining in the live. And here is Bang Chen in the live. Hello, how are you? And here is Lino in the chat. Hello, how are you? Welcome to the live. Melanie, how are you? Welcome to the live. Next name is Amalia in the chat. Hello, Amalia, how are you? Next name is Sumaya. Thank you for joining in the live. Have a great day. And here I see next name is Smokey. Thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much. And next name is, okay, here is Nazreen Temur Farha Salim. Thank you so much for joining in the live. Have a great day. Next name is Ji Sung in the chat. Hi, hello, Han Ji Sung. Thank you so much for joining in the live. And here is next name is Zulmi in the chat. Hello, Zulmi, how are you? And next name is, I see who's here. Okay, thank you so much for your compliment. Next name is Lorda in the chat. Hi Lorda, how are you? And next name is Felix in the chat. Hello Felix, how are you? Chaloy, how are you Chaloy? Thank you so much for joining in the live. Jin in the chat. Hello, how are you? Hello, Jin, how are you? And here's Hattie in the chat. Hello, Hattie, how are you? Thank you so much for joining in the line. And here is Alifa, how are you? Thank you so much for joining in the line. And here next name is, okay, next name is Benty. How are you, Benty? Thank you so much, Benty, for joining in the live. And here is Kinda in the chat. Hello, how are you? Thank you so much. And here is Ishan in the chat. Hello, Ishan, how are you?